Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. We're going to be checking out a video titled What Americans Don't Understand About Europe. I live in Europe now, so let's check out this video. Let's see what this woman is talking about from her perspective, and yeah, let's see if I agree or not. And let's see, I'll actually give a comparison and share my thoughts on before and after. Before I was living in Europe, and now after, see if I had a different mindset, if it's changed, so on and so forth. But thank you guys for watching this video. If you have any recommendations, leave those in the comment section down below. Preferably click that link in the pinned comment section. You can recommend videos. I check them out as soon as possible. Without further ado, let's check out this video.
I've noticed an increasingly negative attitude of US Americans to Europeans and the other way around. It makes me sad because I think there's much to admire in both America and Europe. So today I want to talk a little about what I think is going on and what we have in common and what not. A lot of the US-European kerfuffle is friendly, and you find it in memes like "the European mind can't comprehend this," posted by Americans, featuring SUVs, highway junctions, or oversized meals and drinks. In return, we have the retaliation: "the American mind can't comprehend this," with the metric system, walls of public bathroom stalls that have gaps at the bottom, and garbage separation. Speaking of garbage, in case you missed it, 2 months ago, New York City introduced garbage bins. My European mind can't comprehend this. Of course, the American-European rub isn't a new thing. Georges Clemenceau, who was Prime Minister of France more than a century ago, said, "America is the only nation in history which miraculously has gone directly from barbarism to degeneration without the usual interval of civilization." According to the Irish playwright George Bernard Shaw, the 100% American is 99% idiot. And Winston Churchill allegedly said that Americans can always be trusted to do the right thing once all other possibilities have been exhausted. Americans haven't been any friendlier to Europe.
I'm sorry, dude, it's embarrassing, but I have to laugh, dude. Yo, what he said? Nah, Shorty said Americans can always be trusted to do the right thing once all other possibilities have been exhausted. Dude, do you know how embarrassing that statement is? Like, bro, oh my gosh, like, we're living in that situation right now. I'm not even gonna talk about it, but we're living in that situation right now, right? Americans voted in this election and showed exactly what they wanted. They showed that they wanted Donald Trump to be the president again, right? And there are many people who still thinks that this is a great idea and everything is going great, right? And until everything gets sour to the point where we're all practically dying, I guess most people will still think that it's the right thing to do. And it's just, this statement is just, man, if he actually said this, oh my gosh. Wow.
Abilities have been exhausted. Americans haven't been any friendlier to Europeans. The American comedian Jackie Mason quipped that England is the only country in the world where the food is more dangerous than the sex. Bette Midler declared that when it
I don't get how that is funny. I genuinely don't get it. The food is more dangerous than the sex. Like, how? How? How's the food more dangerous than the Smex? I don't like. Is England known for some weird food and weird Smex? Like, what's going on?
where the food is more dangerous than the sex. Bette Midler declared that when it's 3 o'clock in New York, it's still 1938 in London. The American author and journalist P.J. O'Rourke said that you can always reason with a German. You can always reason with a barnyard animal too, for all the good it does. All good fun. But we also have many Europeans who think Americans are just stupid to accept living in the conditions that they do. That judgment has become especially pronounced since the first Trump presidency. And I'm laughing at Trump supporters.
Wait, hold on. How old is this video for a quick reference? 13 days ago. Oh, God. Okay. Okay, let's get back to the basics then.
People that stupid shouldn't be allowed to vote. That's a quote from a young Dutch person. I can tell you from my own experience that among the Europeans I know, this attitude is extremely common. You don't have to take my word for it, because by the blessing that's YouTube, we have footage of a young American who asked Europeans what they think of Americans.
Are you also German?
Yes, I am.
And in Germany, you feel like German people have a positive view of Americans? Or
Not really.
no?
I think
Okay, so more negative.
Yeah, I think so.
Do you feel that there's been a change at all in terms of how Americans are viewed, like in the last 10, 15 years?
I think so, yes. Especially due to Trump and the Tea
Yeah.
Party things happening. It got more polarized, and that made it more negative in my view.
This is from before the recent US election, but I don't think the situation has much improved since. In return, many Americans likewise think Europeans are stupid to accept living in the conditions that they do. An opinion that seems to be mostly based on the economic superiority of the United States, or the higher income you can make in some professions, or the high taxes we pay in Europe. I encounter this attitude on Twitter all the time. The reason this makes me unhappy is that it presumes people in other countries must share our values. I've lived for some years in the United States, and I believe that Americans just have different values than Europeans. We each have a different idea of what makes for a good life, and it makes no sense that we try to impose our values on each other. Have a look at this podium discussion. Can you spot the American among the Swedes? Somewhat more.
Let me see. If I'm being absolutely honest, I'd imagine the guy with the Converse on is American. And I know I'm damn right. Because he's just relaxed. Everybody else doing a lot of thing going on. You know what I'm saying? Wow, Brody just opened that thing. Just chilling. Converse, too. Oh, my God. Yeah, he's definitely American. I'd imagine that he's the American in that room. I don't know. But I could be wrong. But either ways, she's absolutely right about, pushing your views and your way of life onto other people. I've never agreed with it. Like, there's a situation where you can say what is better and what is not better. Like, okay, I don't smoke and somebody else smoke. The truth is, what I'm doing is better for my health. What you are doing is not better for your health. However, they don't need to not smoke because it's healthy, right? They can smoke because it's their free will and free choice. It's just like in Europe. I personally love the system in Europe where taxes are paid in higher amount because you can go to the doctor and you can get your shit fixed up, right? In the United States, you pay less taxes, but good God, if you get injured, you're screwed. Right? It's that simple. So if that's what you like, that's what you like. If that's not what you like, that's not what you like. But at the end of the day, you just have to admit what system is better than the other, right? It is better to pay less taxes when you're directly thinking about what you can buy after your salary. However, when you flip the coin and think about paying more taxes, and it goes towards the benefit of your healthcare. And if you ever have a child, they can go to university for free without having to pay a large amount of portion of money in tuition, then you can see that paying high taxes makes a lot of sense. So it is all about what you prefer and what risk you're willing to take. In fact, I don't think there's much risk to paying higher taxes, but not paying higher taxes is very risky.
Discussion. Can you spot the American among the Swedes? Somewhat more seriously, many Americans, for example, think of freedom as individual autonomy, guns being left alone by the government, and being able to say what they want without limitations. This is why they're skeptical of the idea to make health insurance mandatory, don't think much of social welfare programs, and constantly complain about censorship. They've grown up learning that if you want to be successful, you need to take risks. They've grown up learning that failure is a normal part of life and an opportunity to learn. They've grown up learning to value independence. Europeans, on the other hand, are more likely to associate freedom with social security. They want to be free to pursue their interests without having to worry about, say, being indebted for the
Yeah, I was having a conversation with a buddy last night because we was playing some basketball, and I was about to try to get to the league, but my dad was like, "Man, you get injured, you're screwed. So you got to focus on your, school." And you know what he responded to me? He was like, "Yeah, in America that's the case, but here in Finland, you ain't got no worries because if you get injured and you can't play sports no more." Guess what? You can always go back to university because guess what? You ain't got to pay no dough for the university, right? And I was like, yeah, there you go. You're right. So there you go. That's a perfect example.
Rest of their life because they wanted to study physics, having to ask for donations to pay their cancer treatment or getting shot at the mall. In Europe, we tend to see universal healthcare, tuition-free education and unemployment benefits as the basis of individual liberty. We accept higher taxes and regulations as protections from systemic risks like poverty or illness, and most of us agree that one person's free speech ends when it endangers another person's safety or dignity. We've grown up learning that bad fortune can hit anyone. We've grown up learning that we're stronger together. We've grown up learning to think before acting. Yes, these are terrible stereotypes, and I apologize profoundly to all Americans and Europeans who feel misrepresented, which will be all of you, I guess, because I think we all have some sympathy for both perspectives. Like, just among you and I agree that our taxes are too high. But by my own experience, I think that on average, these stereotypes are largely true. I believe that our different values go back to our different historical trajectories. The USA was built by rebels who fled from tyranny. Then they ended up in the awkward situation of needing a government for people who don't want to be governed. That's basically still the situation today. Europe, on the other hand, had kings and monarchs for millennia and then saw the emergence of a strong labor movement, which only grew stronger after the First and Second World War. This is why we have such strong labor unions, which prevent a lot of the financial exploitation that's possible in the United States. And these fundamental differences reflect in the way that we deal with business developments. Americans tend to think that Europe's overregulated and slow and too risk-averse. They're right. And Europeans tend to think that in the United States, rich people make the poor poorer by burning money in overly risky investments. They're also right. A good way to see how these cultural differences result in economic differences is this graph. It compares labor productivity in the EU with that in the US. You can see that the productivity per capita in the EU has grown far less in the past decades, and I understand that Americans are proud of their achievement. But if you dig into the details, the reason for the discrepancy is that Europeans on average work fewer hours. You can see this if you normalize this productivity by the number of hours worked. Then the curves look almost identical. What does this mean? I think it means that Europeans don't care a lot about the GPU. At least I don't. If an American comes to me boasting about how high the US GPT is, or how many billionaires are Americans, or how many big companies...
Just ask him one question. How rich you is, gang? How much money you got in the bank? You know, it's a shame to brag about other people's wealth just because you're a part of that location. You know, it's one of the weirdest thing that humans can do is to join themselves onto another human when you benefit this much from that human. You know what I mean? It's like, what?
Companies are owned by Americans. All I can say is, well, and what do you get out of it? Are you happy that you made the rich people even richer? If the answer is yes, that's fine with me and I respect that. But it's not a system that I would feel comfortable in, and I hope that you can respect that too. And that basically is the message of this video. I wish that we all had more respect for how people in other cultures choose to live their lives. Americans aren't stupid because they voted for Trump, and Europeans aren't stupid because they pay high taxes. We just do things differently. I very much admire the American entrepreneurial spirit, their willingness to take risks, and their independence. But I also think it's good that we don't all do things the same way.
Exactly.
I follow the news both in Europe and
I
America.
appreciate that statement so much. If like, though I want the best for the United States, I don't want the United States to actually copy Europe to the T. You know what I mean? Dot on the I and cross on the T. I don't want it to be that situation, because Europe is not going to be special anymore, right? So keeping some sort of difference is key, right? Life is special when it's different. If everybody in the world was a man, it wouldn't be special. And if everybody in the world was a woman, or everybody was a baby, or everybody was an adult, it wouldn't be special. You know what I mean? So I think the difference is very much needed. It's just that some of the differences are too severe, if you get what I'm saying. Like healthcare, you compare both prices, it's like you're totally screwed in one situation, which is the United States healthcare, right? So a little bit of compromise, a little bit of change goes a long way, and I agree with everything this woman is saying.
America, and that's become so much easier since I use Ground News. So let me tell you something about them. Ground News is a news platform that collects and summarizes news which has been published all over the world. Not only do they collect all articles on the same story in one place and give you a quick summary, they also give you a lot of extra information that you don't find in the standard media. And it's really saved me so much time. Take, for example, the recent news that
Ground News. I'm gonna have to check them out. Y'all should check them out too. Ground News. But I agree with everything that she said. Very, very strong points. She spoke the truth. There's disadvantages with Europe. There's disadvantages with the United States. I personally think that the disadvantages with European lifestyle is quite less, because I think, though you make less money and you also take home less money, I do believe that the benefits that you get from that situation outweighs the negative, which is just getting less money to take home and getting less money in general before taxes, right? I think it outweighs it by a long shot. However, with the United States, you get a lot more money, but if anything goes sour, which it's almost inevitable to not have something go sour, you know what I mean? It could be you, could be a family member, anything is possible, right? So it's unfortunate, in my humble opinion, but nonetheless, it's a beautiful video. I think there's a lot of great things in the United States and a lot of bad things in Europe. However, there's also a lot of positive things in both countries. So if you guys don't mind, talk to you, bro, in the comment section down below and let me know what y'all thought about this video. But to wrap it up, I do believe that it is much more beneficial to live in Europe than in the United States as a brokey. And when I say a brokey, I don't mean like broke. I mean somebody who is trying to survive and going to a job and so on and so forth. I think it is definitely a better place, in my humble opinion, because I think Europe is more for the people rather than for the corporation and the businesses, in my humble opinion. That's what I think. Could be wrong, but let me know what y'all think in the comment section down below. But if you're one of those guys with a big B on your back, the United States is definitely for you. Anyways, guys, thank you for watching. I'm out of here. Peace.